Hello, and welcome to our webinar, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. We're excited to have Sean Heron with Regal Securities to present this webinar on how to leverage our trading platform to maximize earnings season. Now, whether you're an existing client or a potential one, we're sure that you'll get something out of this webinar and ideas to take advantage of earnings season today. My name is Gina Bocayas, and I'm with Regal Securities. Regal is the parent company of eOption and InvestTrade. And to provide some basic logistical information for the webinar today, the session today will last approximately 1 hour. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to type them in the Q&A box on your screen, and our speaker will answer those at the end of his presentation. We ask that you use the Q&A box and not the chat box, as our speaker may not see your comments in the chat box. Also, you can reach out to eOptions Trade Desk at any time if you have additional questions after the webinar about using or setting up any of the tools or services mentioned in this webinar. You can access a recording of the webinar in the next few days on our website at eoption.com. And as a courtesy, we'll also be emailing you a copy of the recording so you can review at your leisure. We also encourage you to subscribe to eOptions YouTube channel, where you'll see all of our past videos on option trading there. And we also do have a specific playlist for OptionsPlay videos, so you can see all kinds of ideas on how to use it. And for those of you just joining, we'd like to welcome you to our webinar on how to leverage our trading platform to maximize earnings season. You'll be learning all tips on our trading platform, and we'll also be teaching you about OptionsPlay. We're excited about OptionsPlay. That's our free strategy tool that scans thousands of stocks daily and highlights potential option trades for you. And it demystifies option trading. It's for any level of option trader, whether you're a beginner or experienced. And that's normally a $500 value annually, but we do offer that free to all of our customers. And as eOptions' name implies, we are a firm that specializes in option and stock trading. Our founder was a founding member of the Chicago Board Options Exchange in the 70s and has been trading stocks and options for over 50 years. And at eOption, we charge some of the lowest rates in the industry. All stock and ETF trades are commission-free, and options are just 10 cents a contract plus $1.99 per trade. We also offer a powerful trading platform, mobile app, free trading tools, and live expert support on our trade desk. And if you want to give our trading platform a test drive, you can also open a paper trading account for free to give your trading strategies a test drive. And we encourage you to check out eoption.com, which has many resources to assist you in your options trading. We also support option education, and we're glad you can join our webinar today to learn more about using options to spot opportunities during earnings season. I'd like to turn our attention to our speaker now, Sean Heron. Sean is currently president of Regal Securities. He's an experienced options and equity trader with over 20 years of industry experience. He's been using the OptionsPlay tool at eOption for several years and will provide an expert's view as he walks traders of all levels on how to use its features and set up a trade. After receiving a bachelor's degree from Illinois State University in 1992, he began his career in the financial services industry as a limited partnership trader with Chicago Partnership Board. Sean joined Regal Securities, eOption, and InvestTrade's parent company in April of '98, and over the years has worked in nearly every department of the firm. And without further ado, I'll turn it over to Sean. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Appreciate the introduction. Hello, everybody. We're happy to have you with us today. As Gina said, we're going to do this webinar, lasts about an hour, and we're going to cover different ways that you can use our platform to identify opportunities during earnings season and other times of the year, certainly. But to begin with, we need to review our disclosure. So let me get this on the screen. So please review this. Certainly options carry a higher level of risk and are not suitable for all investors. We have a certain option agreement you'll need to review and complete to be approved to trade options. So please review these disclosures on your screen for a moment, and we'll get started here. And again, the webinar is for educational purposes and should not be considered a recommendation or trading advice. I'll go over certain securities. By no means are those ones that I'm invested in or I think that you should. I think it's just an opportunity to show how the platform is used. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. What you're seeing here is our trading platform, and it's probably familiar to some of you. This is how I personally have it set up. As many of you are familiar, I'll go over some just preliminary items on what the layout looks like, and then we'll get into the different software applications that are built into our platform. So it's a widget-based platform, and it's driven by the tabs that you see at the top, and you can set up various different screens customized for your own personal liking. This is how I have it set up. This is my watch list and the columns that I have associated with these equities and ETFs that I watch currently. If you want to change around your columns or what is displayed on this screen, just go to the bottom left where it says Change Columns, and you can select which ones you wish to view. In addition to that, you can drag the columns to whatever position you'd like to see them in. So I could switch the day high and the day low around. Whatever it suits your needs there. In addition to that, I think many of you may see that up at the top left corner of each widget is a color. And you may not be familiar with what that is, but what you're able to do with that is if you click on it, it gives you a few different colors. And if you set up your other widgets with those same colors, such as my chart, when I click on the stock from my watch list, it will then translate the data for that specific security to those other widgets that are coded the same. So you'll see the chart change to Google when I clicked on Google. And so that's a useful tool that you can use to save time and make it more efficient. So as I said, we're a widget-based platform. I have this set up where I have my watch list on one screen, charts on another, option chains on another tab, my positions and orders on another tab, OptionsPlay, additional services, daily outlook, and Zacks. We'll get into those as well. If you like, you can set up your own screen tailor-made to your liking. You just click on the plus sign, and you can rename this whatever you like. But to add widgets to that, you just go to this top right, Add Widget drop-down, and these are all the different widgets that you can add to this. So you may like your option order ticket added to your option chain. You can do that. You may want your watch list attached with a chart. And as I said, you can color code those so you can see the chart and the stock, the one that you're looking at that moment. There's all sorts of different things you can do here, and it's a useful tool there. Okay, so what we're going to go today, we're going to dig into different ways that you can use our platform to identify, what has earnings coming, what's the sentiment, what's the, what's the history of those stocks, what is expected of earnings, and depending on if you're bearish or bullish, it'll show you identify certain opportunities, ways that you can trade that based on how you think it's going to trade before and after earnings. I think a lot of times you'll see stocks that, liquid stocks that expect earnings to have good earnings, you'll see them rally ahead of earnings and sometimes even afterwards. So what I'd like to first take a look at, so most of you should have a Zacks Reports tab now at the top of your screen. And if you don't, like I said, you can just go over to the Add Widget and scroll down, and Zacks Reports is there. So this is something new that we've added this year. If you're not familiar with Zacks, they're pretty well known in the industry. They've been around for decades. They have a Zacks score that's pretty well known, and they've been known to produce and consistently have good quality research. So we've built this into our platform, and as you'll see here, there's a few different ways that you can use this. What it's bringing up right now is the list of reports, the report date of April 21st today, and you'll see each stock has an ID number, a ticker symbol, and as before, you can click on these and it'll, similarly with the color coding to the widget, it'll transfer that to the chart, it'll transfer it to the option chain, it'll, whatever you have that connected to. So, we'll get into this on a higher level right now, and then we'll come back to it a little bit later. In addition to the individual reports, to the right at the top here, there's a monthly economic outlook that Zacks provides. You can click on that. And this comes out earlier in the month, and this is a PDF. You can scroll through. This one was issued on April the 7th. And it gives some good overall higher level market information for the month. It's a good quality report, and gives you some things that'll come up through the month and maybe the past month, and it's a useful tool. So you just click the X there to exit out of that, and then going back to the individual reports, you can sort these by the column. So say on the rank, I want to look at just the strong buys. It's going to sort those based on strong buy, hold, sell strong. And so say the first one here, Alcoa, comes up and they're indicating a strong buy. I can look at that report by just clicking the View PDF. Then it's going to populate that report here on my screen. And this is the Zacks report that each one of these equities will display when you look at the PDF. So what's in here? You've got the Zacks rank, which they're really well known for, and so they make that rank based on different metrics, values. Alcoa is getting an A, growth a B, momentum is C. So the VGM is just a combination of value, growth, and momentum. This one currently sits at a strong buy with Zacks, and then you get pertinent equity information here on the right, a snapshot chart on the left. You can scroll down, and gives you a consensus earnings estimates, and it's a 60 days, so you can see where the momentum is going. So for this particular one, for this fiscal 60 days ago, it's $1.03. It's been moving up since, and the current is $3.59. So that's useful. And then it also comes down here, industry comparison. It'll give you versus the S&P 500 and then industry peers. Those are other stocks that are in their Alcoa's industry. So a lot of useful information here. You can spend lots of time in here reviewing these reports. There are just a ton of them in here, and they're constantly on a daily basis uploaded, fresh content, and like I said, that's under the Zacks reports. So we're proud to offer this. Like I said, this is new this year, and I encourage you to use that in your daily analysis. Okay, moving on. Like I said, we'll come back to this once we get into OptionsPlay a little bit more. What I did want to highlight for you as well is additional research content that we provide. It's under the Daily Outlook tab. And if you don't have that, same thing, you can add the widget for Daily Outlook right here, and that will be added to the screen, customized, so you can. On this particular one, I've got my daily outlook, I've got a chart, and I've got a trade ticket on the bottom. I can move these widgets around, I can eliminate them, and it'll alter the screen and kind of the real estate that each widget takes up. So going to the daily outlook, so we have additional research content that we provide, and this comes out every day, multiple times during the day. It's called the Hammerstone Report. It's good quality, you know, it's kind of middle of the road. It doesn't really give an opinion. It just states facts. And I like this. I read this every day. It comes out morning before the open. So the early look comes out before the market opens. The mid-morning look comes out around, say, 11 a.m. Eastern. And the closing recap comes out after the close. Also every day, well, we'll look at the early outlook first. So it'll give you, you know, where the previous day ended. This came out this morning. You know, tells you what the futures are doing. Kind of a recap of yesterday. Events calendar for that particular day. So this morning, mortgage application data came out, and Department of Energy inventory data. And then there's the earnings calendar. So here we are in the middle of earnings season. Going to typically see more volatility, more volume during this time of year. You know, earnings season kicked off, I think, like last week. It'll probably last through the first week or so of May for the bulk of what we'll see from the S&P 500 companies. But so again, here's the calendar this morning. These are the ones that came out with earnings already: Verizon, NASDAQ, other ones here. So, and then tonight we have these lists of stocks. Chipotle, Mexican Grills coming out. A whole bunch of them here. Las Vegas Sands. And that's also built into the widget color coding, is if you click on these, it'll also transfer that data to the chart and to the other widgets that are coded with you. Macro, world news, sector breakdown news as well. And so anyway, so that comes out every morning. Encourage you to look at that. The mid-mornings, kind of similar, maybe a little more brief. And the closing recap is going to tell you kind of the equity market recap, what's going on in commodities, treasuries, gold, oil, and then also a sector breakdown. One thing that I look at on a daily basis I find very interesting are the street recommendations. So this comes out before the market open, and it summarizes what all the big banks and brokerages, what updates they've made to their ratings on stocks each day. So you can come in here and you can see, you know, what's being upgraded, downgraded, new earnings targets, new earnings revisions. If a stock had earnings last night, you'll likely see a number of notes in here. So Netflix had earnings last night, so you can come in here and you'll see Netflix a few times. And these are the, you know, the banks. You got Barclays, Goldman, Bank of America, Citibank, you know, pretty much all of them. So here's a Netflix comment from Citibank, Microsoft. So it's helpful to kind of see where things are going, where, you know, what the analysts are saying about stocks you might be interested in, or ones that you currently own or have options on. It's a useful tool. So one of the things that is certainly timely with earnings season is our weekly calendar. So this comes out every week on Friday, and it's going to give you the calendar for the following week. So I know we email this out. It also is populated in here, the same data. And so this calendar, weekly calendar, is from last Friday. And what it's going to show us is the economic calendar for each day, as well as the earnings for those days. The new one for next week will come out Friday, probably about 1 o'clock, noon or 1 on Friday. And we'll populate that. You'll be able to get that, like I said, by email, as well as in the trading platform. Excuse me. So looking at earnings, the previous screen on the daily outlook, we saw what was coming out today. That's pretty much right there. So if you want to see what's coming tomorrow, we've got American Airlines, we've got Travelzoo, AT&T, looks like Dow Chemical, Southwest Airlines. So a lot of big names, big S&P 500 names are coming out, and that's before the open tomorrow. And then after the close, you've got these stocks coming out: Intel tomorrow, Snapchat, WWE, so a lot going on there. Fridays typically are a pretty slow earnings day, so you can see nothing comes out after the close on Friday, but you do get some that come out before the open. So American Express is before the open on Friday. It looks like Kimberly-Clark. So watch your emails and this space here to see what's on tap for next week, because next week's a really big one. You've got, I think, Google and Microsoft Monday. I think Amazon, they usually come out on a Thursday, so I think they're on Thursday. So some big names, big liquid names are coming out next week. Okay, great. So also just want to make note, if you're not currently a customer and you don't have a login to the live trading platform, the paper trading site does have the Zacks reports on it. It has this content as well. It does not at this time have OptionsPlay, which we're going to take a look at next. And that's just on the live trading platform. But I encourage you to use the paper trading. If you're not a customer or you are a customer, it's basically, for the most part, the same exact platform. You can test your trading strategies out. It gives you a certain amount of fake dollars to play with in there, and you can, if you're not a customer, you can also get accustomed to our trading platform and use that as a way to be more acclimated once you do have an account with us. So, all right, well, let's take a look here. We are going to move on to OptionsPlay. And so what I did here, well, let's take a look at it from a higher level. So what you're seeing right here is the software it's called OptionsPlay. It's designed to simplify and make it more visual, simplify it for you, put it in plain English is really the goal here. Because options, as you know, if you go to an option chain, you can quickly get overwhelmed with the amount of data in here, between the number of strikes and the number of months, the expirations. It can get really, with the weekly options and the monthly options and the leaps, there are just a mountain of data here. I mean, my particular option chain, I only look at, plus, minus, or minus and 10. So what that is, if you go to the strike range, it's going to give you 10 strikes that are out of the money and 10 strikes that are in the money, closest to in the money. And so if you want to look at more, you can use this drop down and look at, if you just want to see the ones closest to the money, 5, 10, 15, up to 50, you can look at them all if you want. It's a lot of data, and it can get quite confusing. So OptionsPlay kind of cuts through that, and we'll kind of go through that. So you're looking at 3 panels here with OptionsPlay. And so on the left, you have the watch lists. In the middle, you have a chart and additional information. We call that the security analysis panel. And on the right, you have the trading and income panel. So this is the what, the why, and the how of trading options on a simplified level. So going to the what, the watch list, what I did here was I created a watch list today that is looking at a number of stocks that have earnings in the next, tomorrow, the next day, next week as well. You can go to the trade ideas. This is cultivated by OptionsPlay, and it'll give you a list of stocks, and you can say I'm bullish or bearish, small cap to mega cap, and then you can even break it down to different sectors and different scans they have. So it gets pretty intricate there. Or you can create your own watch list, and you can do that pretty easily. If you just go to the menu, click New Watch List, you can name it whatever you want. This particular one, I created April 21 earnings. We'll take a look at that. So when it brings up these stocks, you'll see a number of different data points here. The price, certainly, there's a score. The score is what OptionsPlay has created as a technical score. And so what this score measures is that stock's relative strength compared to the overall market. So is it strong compared to what the market is doing? Is it neutral? Is it weak? So that score. So 10 is going to be strongest, 1 is going to be the weakest, and then it's going to give you a 1 month, basically a trend, what the stock has been doing over the past month or so. So as you can see, Alibaba, it's been getting hit pretty hard lately. It's got a very low score, and the trend is down. Rocket Mortgage doesn't have a score yet, likely because this is a pretty new stock. It just IPO'd not long ago. Peloton in the news recently. It's down, looks like about 6% today. It's got a low score. And then you've got Tesla with a high score of 9. The 1 month trend is up. It's up about 1% today. And Tesla has earnings next week. Microsoft, Snapchat, I think we saw is tomorrow, and Travelzoo, Southwest Airlines, American Airlines, all tomorrow. So Southwest Airlines, you can see, has a pretty high relative strength score, but the past month has been pretty neutral. So taking these stocks, I can then analyze them one by one and see what might look attractive. So let's take a look at Snapchat here. It's timely, they have earnings coming up. So when you click on one of these on the left panel, the watch list panel, it's going to populate that stock in the next 2 panels. So what I did here was changed American Express. They have earnings Friday morning. And what's in the middle panel, we'll go over this here. So American Express, it's up about 1% today. The 1 month trend, the 6 month trend are both bullish. Gives you the PE, the beta, the earnings per share, the volume, dividend, gives you the 1 year high and low. And then you've got a chart here which is interactive as well. But down below it shows earnings date April 23rd in the morning, and what is the quarterly dividend. This is pretty interesting too. It tells you the support levels and the resistance, and you can see that here. So we can change this chart, we can even expand the chart, and we can even add some studies to it. So if I want to look at whatever the RSI, I can add that to it, create that, and then it shows you those resistance levels with the lines on the chart. So let's say, okay, well, banks have been doing pretty well lately. Interest rates on the 10-year are moving up, generally speaking. I'm bullish on Amex. I think they're going to have good earnings. Hypothetically, I can say I'm bullish. But say, on the other hand, it's had a good run. Maybe interest rates are going to come down. You might be bearish. So you make the determination here on what on the right panel, the trade panel, you wish to see, whether bullish ideas or bearish ideas. So we'll go with bullish ideas. And, excuse me. So that brings us to the right panel. And so as you can see, we're on the trade. So there's two ways that you can view this panel, trade or income. So income naturally is going to be likely a covered call, maybe a cash covered put. The trade side is going to be more long, maybe a little more speculative. So taking a look at this, what it's going to do is going to give you 3 ways that you can trade this stock on a bullish stance. You can buy 100 shares. It gives you the cost of what that's going to cost. The next up is, okay, you could just buy one June $145 call. That's slightly in the money right now. Tells you what the cost is there. And then third, if you're approved and have experience, you can trade spreads. So what this is going to show you is a vertical call spread. And what it's saying is buy the June monthly 145 call and sell the $160 call. And that's going to give you, limit your potential upside, but also minimize your cost or what you're risking on the particular trade. So this, you might say, okay, well, this looks interesting. You can also click on this, and what it's going to do is it's going to flip over, and it's going to show you what your total cost is, what your maximum reward is, what your maximum risk is, and probability of it happening is the POP. Then your break even, and then the days to expiration if you're using options. So that's additional information for you there. Now what you might be wondering is, what are the scores? What are those numbers that they have associated with that? And what that is strictly a risk-reward ratio metric that they're giving. So what it's saying here is, okay, 91, pretty good, I'm just buying the stock. 79, maybe not so good, I'm buying the long option. And the highest score, 101, on doing the call spread, the vertical call spread. Now, if you want to see what that is more intricately, what the real numbers look like, we would look down below at probably one of the most important pieces to OptionsPlay, and that's the P&L simulator. And we'll dig into this here. So if I'm buying, so what this is saying is these numbers, these returns are based on profit or loss for each of these strategies if the stock goes to 162.15. And so if we look at the vertical call spread, if the stock goes to 162.15 by third Friday in June, I make a profit of $165. So how we get to that is we're doing a 15-point spread, and we're paying $565 for that. So if it goes completely in the money at expiration, we would get $1,500 for the $565 invested, and so that's the biggest reward. It's also, if you see up here, the cost, it's the lowest risk. So that's why it has the highest score. It's the biggest potential return with the lowest cost out of pocket. So down here, you'll look and see, okay, if I just bought that call, straight call, and if the stock goes to 162.15 by third Friday in June, I would make $980, which would be 133% return because you're investing, it costs more, so therefore the return is $980. And then also on the stock, if you bought the stock, $14,700, if it goes to that price, you would make a 10% return. So you could say, okay, well, hey, that's best case scenario that it went up. Well, what if it goes down? So you can slide this one down. So let's say they had bad earnings, maybe the stock trades down, and instead it goes to 140 by, say, middle of June. So in that scenario, it shows you your return. So if you own the stock, you would lose 636 or minus 4%. If you owned either of these option trades, you would lose 100%, but you were only risking on the vertical call spread 565, so that's what you would lose in that scenario. So like I said, the score is strictly risk-reward, and that's the result there. So you're risking less with a potential return of higher with the vertical call spread. So in addition to changing this stock price, you can also change your expiration date, and then you can also play with the implied volatility. So as many of you know, implied volatility has an impact on option premiums. So a premium on the option is the amount of the option price that's in addition to, say, in the money amount. So if a stock is in the money and it expires in June, say it's in the money by $2, but it's trading at $4, Well, that extra $2 is the the time premium, and it's implied volatility has an impact on how much that is. Okay, moving on. So as you see this arrow here on the right, we can slide through this. So there's 5 different screens on the bottom here that you can use. This next one is good, I think. It just puts it into plain English what these trades are looking to accomplish and what it is. And so looking at a vertical call spread, it's a bullish strategy with limited risk and limited potential reward, because you're selling a call at a higher strike price. It'll profit if the stock closes above 150.65, and there's a 37.9 probability that this will happen. Moving on, this is a risk and investment calculator. So you could say, well, I like that. I have $5,000 to invest, and you can calculate these. It'll automatically calculate it up here. Then you can also go to, I want to risk this much. So as you can see, I'm going to risk 5,000. I'm now buying 8 of the 145 to 160 call spreads. And then the next slide is a trading range simulator. So this is interactive. You can change these by sliding these. If you think maybe it's going to go higher than 162, you can slide this over. You can widen this up, and it's going to change. You can see dynamically the score will change. Or you can tighten this down. You don't think it's going to go quite there. So you can play around with this, and you can also change the expiration of the options that you're considering for the trade on this screen. So it gives you a lot of leeway to modify what the trade ideas it comes up with on top, and you can spend a lot of time in here working with this. Next up, as you know, with options, there's a lot of ways, different strategies that you can play options or trade them. So what this is doing, this last screen, it's going to show you different trade strategies. So the standard options play is just going to show you buy the shares, buy a call, vertical call spread. But if you want to get into more complex options, you can come in here and you can still say I'm bullish, and then here are all the different types of strategies that are associated with that bullish stance in trading options. And you can play with this and do a collar, synthetic stock, verticals, diagonals, ratio spreads. There's a lot there you can play around with. So going back to our trade that we have set up here, I had put in I want to risk $5,000. It set this trade up for me. So one of the great things about OptionsPlay is we do offer this as fully built into our trading platform. So say I like this trade, I want to go ahead, I want to make this trade. All you do is click here on trade, and this is pretty neat little tool. So it's going to bring up an order, like a pre-order ticket. It just wants to verify that your information is all correct. So we're buying 8 of the June 145s and selling 8 of the June 160 calls. Gives you a mid price. So you'll know option with spreads, you've got the bid and ask on 2 different options that you're trading, and there's a mid price, which I would say trading spreads go with limit orders, and typically, generally speaking, they'll fill you in between there. It may take some time, and also stocks move, so it's not guaranteed, but I wouldn't enter market orders on spread orders because you're paying maximum ask on you're getting the bid on the one you're selling and you're getting the ask on the one you're buying. So it tells you what you're going to risk, how many days till expiration, and then it has this neat tool, the strategy checklist. So you can check this off. You've chosen a bullish, Currently, the S&P 500's 1-month trend is bullish, gives you the score. Then this is useful, it says be aware earnings are on April 23rd. And then liquidity, you know, it even says here, bid ask of the spread is sizable. You know, recommends that you place a limit order near the mid price. So, okay, so we're all good with that. Just hit preview order, and then it's going to bring up our ticket, and there it is. And with our ticket, it's going to show you what, you know, the market is and what the ask is. So, you know, there's about 31 cents in between. You know, I would stick with a limit on this. If I was entering this order, I would go probably try 540, maybe 535, see if they fill me. If they don't, I can bump it up by a nickel. Usually they'll get you filled in between there. So that's quite useful. It's all built in. It's completely, you know, it's visual. It tells you in plain English. It's interactive. It's a very useful tool around this time of year. So also, if you want to go back to the Zacks reports, and you want to see, all right, well, AXP, before I pull the trigger on that one, I want to see if they got a report on American Express. What you might want to do is just say this year, because you can change the date ranges on these reports. So you want to capture everything, say, going back to January 1. Say this year, let's search, and there it is. There's one report, and Zacks has a hold on it. So let's see what's going on here. Zacks, this report was dated Feb 10th, so this one is 2+ months old. At the time, the stock was trading at 126. Now at 140, 45, 42, 46. So this data might be a little dated, but I'm sure they'll be updated more recently. So it just shows you how you can, you know, maybe before you decide, just as a double check and see if Zacks has a report and see what they're saying about it. Maybe what their earnings are, what they're expecting, and kind of go from there. All right, so going back to OptionsPlay, before I take some questions, would like to show you the other one, the income tab. Or actually, you know what, let's take a look real quick. So let's say this American Express, we're bearish on it. So if I click on bearish, it's now going to show me 3 bearish strategies. So bearish strategies would be, you know, sell short the stock, the first one, buy a put, straight put on the second one, and then the other one's a vertical put spread. It's where you're buying a put at a higher level and selling one at a lower level. Very, you know, typical bearish strategies. So it's not just, everything's not just bullish. There's also the bearish side of it, and if that's what you're thinking, feel free to play around with that. Okay, so we're going to take a look now at the income. So what this is going to do, so if you're looking at options to be used as a tool to generate income, maybe you're a buy and hold, you'd like to, you know, you've owned American Express for 10 years, you don't want to sell it, you don't want to take a tax liability there. So there's ways that you can generate income off of your investment in the meantime, and those typically come in 2 forms, you know, selling a covered call or going short a put, or a cash covered put, as some call it. So with a put, when you sell a put, straight naked or cash covered at a strike price, worst case scenario, you're going to buy that stock at that strike price. So if it goes down below that, you get put the stock and you buy the stock at that price. So your cost is going to be the strike price less whatever income you brought when you sold that option. So in this particular case, American Express, it's saying sell one of the May 14th calls at 157.50, and you know, it tells you the max reward. The maximum risk is if you get called away, if your stock gets called away. You know, with a covered call, you can always, you know, so say the stock went to 160 after you sold the 157, you can always buy that call back. You know, your stock has moved up that you're long, you can buy the call back and maybe sell a September 170, you know, roll it out. So it's not necessary that you have to get your stock called away in those situations. Although, please note that if you're short an option, assignment is random and could happen technically at any time. Although if it's out of the money, it's unlikely. And then the other strategy is sell a put. So in this situation, it's saying sell the 133 put, you get $58 for one contract, and you're risking, basically what you're risking is the amount that you'd end up buying the stock at less the income premium from the option. And then you can go down here, click income settings, and then you can change the parameters of what it will display to you. Calls, so you know, you can say, okay, well, I don't want to sell a May call, I want to go longer term, and you can set that as your default. It's not going there. Oh, there we go. Set as default, and then it'll come back, and now you see after I set the default as a longer term, it's showing me an October call to sell, 175. And you get $255 income if you sold that call as a covered call. Okay, well that's a lot we covered right there. We're at about 1:50 my time. So I'll turn it over here to some questions and answers. I see we have a number of questions in here. If you have any questions and you haven't put it in here, I'd encourage you to go ahead now. Throw it in there, and I'll get to these in the meantime. Let's take a look here and see what we got. Okay, so one gentleman said, I live in Norway, having issues opening an account. What I would suggest is, can you phone our new account department? I think we can get that worked out for you. Or also, we have a chat function on our website. If you want to chat with our staff here live, feel free to use the chat as well. I think we can get that squared away for you. Another gentleman asked if we're going to offer a fuller version of OptionsPlay. You know, we've known the guys at OptionsPlay since this was in development stage, before they even launched it. We were actually their first broker customer to use this. And so yes, those are things that we're evaluating. We launched the Zacks this year, and we're in talks with them all the time about different offerings they have, and as well as ones that they're coming out with. Okay. Another gentleman said, I would like to start trading through eOption and your excellent platform, but of course I would like to do that without paying for the use of the software. Well, good news. We don't charge anything for the use of our software. There are no fees for the use of the software. As Gina mentioned earlier, you know, we have very low to zero commissions. Options are $1.99 plus 10 cents a contract. Equities and ETFs are $0. That's it. That's all you're paying. So again, reiterate, there are no fees to use this software. It is free, comes with a live trading account. As soon as you open up the account, you can get access to this. In the meantime, if you don't, you can sign up for the paper trading. How do the companies get rated, the Zacks report? Zacks has proprietary, you know, data and information that they use. I mean, certainly there's fundamental as well as technical data that gets into that. And, you know, I don't have a specific answer for that. I would say certainly Zacks, you can check out their information as well. Another question, if I can start trading with the option, is it possible to copy the settings you have right now in your platform? What I mean is to be able to see my trades in the screen exactly as you're presenting it. Well, good news, most of my settings are the standard settings that come with a new open account. Certainly, we can get you here pretty easy. If you want my exact layout, happy to help you. Can do that very easy, so just a phone call away. Okay, another question. How do you choose strike price and expiration of an option? This is kind of a personal preference. You know, what are your risk tolerance? What, you know, it really, a lot of this plays into your personal situation. What is your time frame, your investment horizon? You know, with options, if you're buying, you know, you got earnings this week, if you're buying a Friday option for a stock with earnings tomorrow, that's gambling. You don't know what's going to happen. So I like to buy time. Certainly time is more of a premium, but it's less of a gamble when you're buying time. So there's a lot of variables that go into that. You know, typically you want to look at a more liquid stock. So the liquid ones, why I say that is the bid asks are tighter. You don't get these really wide bid asks on more liquid stocks. What is an acceptable bid ask when considering an option? Well, like I said, the bid ask is tied to liquidity. It varies a lot. You know, if you want to just look at that, you know, look at a bid ask on a stock like, you know, Facebook or Google or Microsoft versus one that trades much less, and you'll see. And also the open interest, how many people, open interest is how many open contracts are out on the street. And, you know, a lot of that plays into it. So it's a lot of variables there, certainly. But you will see bid asks widen up and then tighten up based on liquidity and open interest. How do you alter strike price? I think what you're referring to is on OptionsPlay. And you come in here, and you just, on the bottom part, you can alter right here, expiration. You can change what expiration you got. Oh, and I'm sorry, you said alter the strike price. You can, it's also in here, right here, actually, under modify. So what you can do here is, on this vertical call spread, I can come in here and just hit this drop down. I can change the expiration, and then down the other drop down, I can change the strikes. Is it possible to export live option prices in Microsoft Excel? I believe that is. I would suggest talking to our help desk there. They can help you with that. Another question, can OptionsPlay be used for Iron Condor? Yes, those are in that area that I showed right in here. You can go through all strategies, and there you can find what you're looking for, Butterfly Condor, right there, right here. Another question, will OptionsPlay recommend credit spreads or buying options? It does, you know, show you a trade simulated with buying or going long a call or going, you know, shorting a put. Credit spreads, same thing here. You can go in here and change to a credit spread. Do you offer contingency trades, you know, on the trading side? I'll look here. So right here, we have one triggers the other and one cancels the other. So you can set these up in here. Will the recording of the webinar be available today? If it's not available today, soon. And then last question here, do you teach options? You know, certainly we do our best to try to educate you, and we're happy to do these webinars anytime. You know, I would say our educational content, so we do our best to educate you as best as possible. We are what would be called a discount broker. We don't make recommendations, but we are happy to do what we can to help you and guide you and teach you what we're able to. So on that, I'm going to turn it over to Gina. I'm going to put this screen, oops, sorry. I'm going to put this. Oh, and just one last thing, everybody. As Gina mentioned, ETFs, stock, 0 commission, unlimited, options, 10 cents with a $1.99 base. OptionsPlay, it's free for everybody. A powerful trading platform, if I've shown you here, and no hidden fees, volume requirements, or account minimums. So go to eoption.com to get started, and we'd love to have you here and have you as a customer. And with that, I'll turn it over to Gina to wrap things up. Thank you, everybody.
Great, thank you, Sean. Someone had a quick question about using the scanner feature on the trading platform. If you have a moment, would you mind going through that?
Scanner, here, one moment. Let's see if I can get the scanner. Let me see here. Oh, I'm sorry, I would have to go. I took the scanner off my layout. The stock screener?
Yes, the screener, yes.
Yeah, so this is the stock screener. We can look at preset screens. So if I want to go to like small cap value, I'll select that one. And it's loading them up. So yeah, so the screener, I'm sorry, I could have shown you this earlier, the market screener, it's one of the widgets that's in there. We have all sorts of different screens that are pre-made that you can use. And then this particular one, we're taking a look at, you have, you can alter these parameters to show differences on your screens. And then what it's going to do is show you the results on the bottom. And then again, these are built into, the different color-coded screens. So if you want to plug that into a chart, just click on that one, and it will actually brings you up a chart here as well. So that's under our research and under stock screener.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much, Sean. We appreciate that. It was very interesting and informative. And we hope it gave our viewers so many ways that eOption can help spot trading opportunities during earnings season. And to everyone on this call, thank you so much for attending. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day. And as Sean mentioned, we will be emailing you a copy of this webinar so you can review it again at your own leisure. You'll be receiving that most likely in the next few days. If you'd like it sooner, we will have it on our website and our YouTube channel, most likely sometime tomorrow. It goes up pretty fast on those sites. And again, as Sean mentioned, don't forget to take advantage of our low rates. All stocks and ETF trades are just 0 commission, and options are just 10 cents a trade plus, or excuse me, 10 cents a contract plus $1.99 a trade. And one of the features that really differentiates eOption from other firms is you're not just limited to a trading app. You have so many choices at eOption. You can trade on our trading platform, our mobile app, or you can place a trade through a live experience broker. And if you have questions, we do have a live support desk that we're very proud of, and they're happy to answer any questions you have. So if you have any questions about OptionsPlay or setting up a widget, it's very easy to get through. There's usually no wait time at all. And most of the people on the trade desk have at least 10 years of experience. So we're really proud of that, and that differentiates us. And we really get to know our customers at eOption. A few people asked in the chat box if there's any minimum to open an account. There is no minimum. So you can open an account today without putting any dollars in and start using all of these features like OptionsPlay, our free research, and all of the features that Sean talked about today will be at your access. So we encourage you to go to www.eoption.com and open an account today. And as Sean mentioned, OptionsPlay, our strategy tool, is normally $500 annually if you were to purchase it on your own, but it's free to all of our customers. So that's a big bonus, and we encourage you to check it out. Also, as it says on the screen, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're proud of that as well. We revamped that this year. And you'll find all kinds of playlists on there. We have one on OptionsPlay, we have one on generated income, different strategies, spreads. So if you want to learn more about options, we encourage you to subscribe. And as soon as a new video is available, you'll be notified. And some people asked in the chat room about education. There's lots of education on eoption.com. If you go to our website and go under resources, you'll find so much there. You'll find all our past webinars and videos, our trading videos. We also have clickable links on option strategies. So if you want to learn about an iron, condor, or butterfly, you can just click on it. It'll show you videos, explain when you would use that strategy, the motivation. And so we encourage you to check it out. We also have videos on OptionsPlay there as well. And our next webinar, we hope you'll be able to join us and mark your calendars. It'll be on Wednesday, May 12th at 1 p.m. Central Time, and how to enter and exit basic option trades. So it'll talk about timing of option trades, and we have a professional trader with over 30 years of experience giving that webinar. So we hope you'll be able to join us. And we do try to do 1 to 2 live webinars a month so we can get all of your questions answered. But again, feel free to contact our trade desk or customer service, and they're happy to answer any questions that you have. And I think that's one more item I wanted to mention is some people have been asking about is paper trading. So if you go to eoption.com, you'll see a box to open a paper trading account. That's an account that's good for 90 days. You'll get 100,000 in virtual currency, and you can just try out your strategies risk-free and give our trading platform a test drive if you want to test it out. So we hope that you'll give it a try, and we highly encourage you to go to eoption.com and check out all of the resources that we have. And so on behalf of eOption, thank you again for attending our webinar. We greatly appreciate your time, and please be safe. Thank you.